probably 7 months. I made 20%. I was like, this is the easiest money I've ever made. I didn't do much. I thought I was gonna make it for the financial freedom and passive income. I realized this is slow. Buying one house at a time, one small multifamily at a time. I bought a house for my grandmother. She didn't want it. So I put it on the market and I get a phone call. The gentleman tells me, hey, I want to buy your house. He says it's all cash. And we go to the bank and it was literally cash in a bag. There's a lot of investments in real estate because it's backed by a hard asset. To me, it's a no-brainer, but to them, they need certain education. And that's where I come in.
Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So as you guys know, this is where we dive deep into our guests' deals. And our guest today has several deals to talk about. We give you practical and really actionable items to get started and actually do a deal, especially if you're brand new. So, but even if you're not brand new, you should listen up because there's going to be some good stuff. And as always, I've got my co-host Mark Nagy from my Massive Action team here with me. Mark, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Rod? And for this specific one, I always get asked, hey, how quickly can people have success in this business? And Georgy, almost a year to this day is when we last spoke to get you started in this. So I'm excited to hear what you've done and bring us up to current.
Nice. So we got Georgy Marrero. Good to see you, brother. And you know, I'm just not even going to say anything else. I want you to introduce yourself. I mean, I know you work for one of the largest companies in the world, so maybe you can talk about that, talk about, you know, your background, why real estate, and just kind of bring us current. So I'll just let you take it away, brother. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Excited to be here and talk a little bit about this. First of all, Rod and Mark, thank you so much for the platform that you have created. I remember the bootcamp that I did last year. You just gave me so much information. I had a few pieces of paper and I filled 20 pages. I think I have it somewhere here in the office of information. I looked at my friend next to me and I was like, we have to join this. We already know more or less what we have to do, the things that we already know, and we just have to go and get started. But
before you move on, was that at the Orlando event? I think that was, right?
I went to the Orlando event as well, which happened a few months, but this was, I believe, May of 2023.
Oh, so this was a virtual event.
Yeah, because it was 1 year, July. Yeah, so it had to be a July virtual.
Oh, yep. That's right. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Keep going there, brother. Tell us your story. Sorry.
Yeah. So I grew up in the Dominican Republic. I was born in New Jersey, grew up in the Dominican Republic from age 3 to 18. I first started in tech. That is my background. And at 7 years old, my dad bought me a computer. And that was one of the only gifts that he gave me, other than teaching me math here and there. And my mom put internet on that computer when I was 8. But when I was 10 or so, I talked to her and I said, hey, Mom, will you let me use the computer until late? And that was like 10:30, 11. And I would get A's in school in return. So I was just a curious kid and I learned how to code at a very young age. I started coding when I was 10. By 14, I had a few pieces of software out there on the web and I had some users, but I just did it as a hobby. By 14. And then during the ages of 15 to 17, I shifted gears and I was more doing side businesses with my friends. I just thought it was very fun to do. And at 18, I migrated to California. That was, I had turned 18. It was 18 in a month. And I asked my family, hey, would you pay for my university? And they said, no, we don't have money. And I knew that was a fact. So I just moved to Southern California and I was at a couch at my aunt's house and commuting to community college. It took me about 2 hours or so to get to school. Even though I knew how to code, the first internship that I took was a sales job. I have no idea why I did that. I was like, I think sales is going to be important for me. And I need to practice my English anyways. So that's what really got my English more fluent. And fast forward, I did that for 2 years, moved to the Bay Area, lived in Berkeley. I went to that university there. And well, since I already knew all the tech stuff from a early age, I just focused on PhD level classes and I learned artificial intelligence. So I did 3 years of undergraduate research, artificial intelligence, and I took a job. I did a startup for about 2 years with some friends. We raised some funds. Then I started working for Meta, and as an AI software engineer. I have been doing that for about 5 years now, and it's a very comfortable job, right? And I slowly, I knew when I was getting into it, but I slowly also realized it that if I continued here, I would be a director, maybe a vice president, but I would never uh, have what I truly value, which is my own time and my own autonomy. So it was about 2019 when I made my first investment. This was as an LP. There was another guy in Meta, and he said, "Hey, you can make about 15% or so. Let's join me in this deal." I never thought much about it. I put the money in, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And then I bought a house for my grandmother. That was like another thing I said. I said, "Hey, I will buy this house. I'm getting at a great price. I'm getting some equity." I bought the house for my grandmother, and she didn't want it. So yeah, she didn't want it. She went into
No good deed goes unpunished.
I know. I give her the keys and I go with her. This was in the Dominican Republic, and she tells me no. My mom couldn't convince her, so I put it on the market. I just put a for sale sign, big for sale sign in the outside, and it was a week or so, and I get a phone call. It was a Saturday, and I was leaving the Dominican Republic on the next Monday. And the gentleman tells me, "Hey, I want to buy your house." It's like, "What's your offer?" He tells me exactly my asking price, and he says it's all cash. I say, "Yeah." I told him,
Make sure you test that for cocaine, that cash. Anyway.
well, I had his name, so I start asking people, and he was a big entrepreneur. He owned a few businesses, textile businesses in my hometown.
Okay.
So I do I do check that. And I told him, "Hey, I'm looking in 2 days." And he says, "I'm ready today." I was an
Wow.
hour away. I drive. I'm making my phone calls, making sure everything is right. My mom even knows the guy. Apparently they went to school together. And said and done, it was all cash. And we go to the bank, and it was literally cash in a bag.
Wow.
Cash in a
U.S. cash? Was it U.S. cash or Dominican cash?
It was Dominican cash, so it was heavy.
Okay.
It was very heavy
Oh,
bag.
wow. Wow.
Um,
Crazy. All right. Well, anyway, so you sold the house. What's next?
well, I made 20% on that. It was yeah.
That was the aha moment. That's one of my questions. Do you have any aha moments in this? And that was an aha moment. Okay. Got it.
That was my aha moment because it was probably 7 months from start to finish, and I made 20%. I was like, this is the easiest money I've ever made. I didn't do much, and I started buying duplexes and houses here in Florida, more in the Dominican Republic, and I thought I was gonna make it for the financial freedom and passive income. And I think I had my second aha moment where I realized this is slow, buying one house at a time, one small multifamily at a time. And
Yeah, it took me 2,000 houses to get that memo. So you're a hell of a lot smarter than I am, brother. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And that's when I discovered you guys. I was introduced through social media, what you guys were talking about, and the power of economies of scale, and also your story, Rod, about all the houses that you had, and how you transitioned. And that was the aha moment. I realized that it was a mindset shift more than anything. And after you have that mindset shift, it was meeting the right people, which you preach a lot about the power of partnerships, and you have a lot of guides about how to choose the right partners. Um, that was the click where I started making commercial real estate investments, and the business has improved and multiplied ever since.
Yeah, but on that note, you said I share, how to hire the right partner, how to meet the right, not hire, right? I'm sorry, how to connect with the right partner, evaluate that partner, make sure you're connected with that partner. If you go to rodslinks.com, rods plural, links plural.com, that's my link tree. And there's a book there on the questions you should ask before you get in a partnership, okay? Because a partnership, like a marriage, is easy to get into and very hard to get out of. So just want to mention that resource before we moved on there real quick.
Yep.
So bring us into your first deal here now. Obviously, less than a year working with us in multifamily. You got your first deal. It's a little bit of a unique one, self-storage deal. Just give us the basics from A to Z. How'd you find the team? How'd the deal get found? Why is it a good deal? Give us the rundown on how you got into this.
Since I've joined, I've done 3 commercial real estate deals since I joined the Warriors.
But in 1 year.
It's going to be here in about a week or so.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, So, I'm going to talk about this self-storage deal, and I went to your Orlando Life Bootcamp.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the Warriors after the online one, but I went to the live one, and I was just roaming around the outside during a break, and I met another Warrior. And we became friends. I think after that moment, we've talked on the phone every day or every other day. It's that kind of friendship. We've gone to the Dominican Republic together not too long ago. We're friends at this point. And I think that relationship, that friendship with that person and the other people that I met, kickstarted a new source of deal flow, that people were inviting me into deals and asking me, hey, so what can you do best? I realized, given my involvement in tech and talking to people about what I do, that capital raising was probably one of the strengths. And you speak about the different roles, acquisition being one, capital raising, or asset management. At the beginning, I was like trying everything. And I said, I could be successful here, but you have to pick one, is what I've realized. And just go with it for a bit. And then,
well, not just that. You should pick one you enjoy, okay? Because when you do what you love, work is play, and you never work another day in your life. And if you do what you love, if you put on the hat of what you enjoy doing on the team, and you align, hire, or partner with people for the things that they enjoy doing, success is freaking inevitable. And if you love what you do, you're passionate about it, and people can feel that passion. And passion is required to influence people. So please continue. So what did you land on?
Yeah, so this was a property in South Carolina.
No. Your superpower, brother. Your superpower. What superpower did you land on?
Absolutely. The superpower was capital raising.
Yeah.
I learned about the mechanics of it. You had I remember a social media course. I remember, and this was also something free. I took it while I was joining first month in. And I realized I already know a lot of people, and they've been asking me about real estate. Up to that point, I probably had only raised capital from one friend, and everything else was just with my own capital. So I had started talking to people. Hey, I'm about to do this. This is how it works. And I got invited into the deal. Well, the whole team was invited into the deal about 2 weeks from closing. This was, and we had a capital raise, and I just had started vacation. And I had started vacation, and I went to, it was about my birthday in November, and I was traveling in Europe. So I had cleared my W-2 obligations, but I put 2 blocks of time, 3 hours, one for my friends in the East Coast and another for the West Coast. And I was walking in London, making phone calls.
Wow.
All the people that I had talked to, I was calling them up, and they were very excited. They could hear the passion in my voice, and I had a story to tell. Hey, I'm here, but listen, you have to believe me, this deal is good. And the numbers spoke by themselves.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that allowed me to be successful in that race was I didn't do the first underwriting, but I definitely re-underwrote the deal. I re-underwrote it to the point that I understood all the different little things. So whenever I talked to somebody that was a bit savvy, I could answer their questions, and they
Yeah.
understood that I had that understanding. I also co-invested with everybody. So everybody liked that I was putting of my own money in the deal.
No, that's great. You mentioned on your notes that you sent in advance of this, you call yourselves FANG. Talk about what that is. Because I mean, you're in the freaking IT space, a lot of money in the IT space. Some of my most successful warriors come from the IT space and raise money in the IT space, like you. But what does FANG mean?
Yep. So FANG is an acronym. It's old at this point, but is FAANG, and it stands for Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know it. It may be old, but I'm old too, so I didn't even know that existed. But
nowadays, you can
yeah.
replace Netflix with Nvidia. They're probably the bigger tech one now. So
Yeah,
no kidding.
Still works. Still works.
So you knew what that was? You knew what that was, Mark? Because I didn't know it. I'd never heard of that. Okay, well, shit, shame on me. But I mean, obviously, you connect with people in that space, so duh, you know. And if you're in the medical space, talk to doctors. If you're an athlete, talk to athletes. You know, if you're a business owner, talk to business owners. So you connect with the people in that space, which is your buddies in the IT world. Yeah, that's who you were calling from London.
Yeah, I was calling all my FANG friends from London.
Nice. All right, now we can talk about that deal. So talk about that self-storage deal. By the way, guys, you know, those of you listening, we don't just do multifamily here in the Warrior Group. We do self-storage. We do, other asset classes like retail, mixed use, new construction, mobile home parks, hotel conversions to multifamily. All, you know, we've got Warriors doing all of it. So anyway, talk about this deal, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was in South Carolina, and it was a office/industrial space with a big acreage, and we did a conversion to self-storage. It was a Class A self-storage, so brand new with climate-controlled units, about 400 climate-controlled units. It had some portables, which are very cost-effective, and you can link them together, put them on asphalt or concrete. And we also put some RV and a boat parking, which are also very cost effective. So we did a feasibility study and realized that they, in that particular submarket, it had about 20 to 30 lakes with a lot of boats. We realized that most of the other competitors' self-storage were 97% plus occupied, which is a good clue. And we noticed the expert that went in, they flew from all the way from California, spent about a week in there, that there was a need of 400,000 square feet of self-storage in that particular location.
Based on some research that you brought in, a self-storage expert that analyzed the market, analyzed the available assets, and came up with a shortage of that much.
Correct.
Nice. Correct. Smart move. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, nowadays we do that for everything that we're considering to do that type of asset class. And this represented about 90,000 square feet so we were well below the total need. And it's very great operating team, very fast. I send the emails every month to my investors, and I send them drone footage, pictures, and the speed at which we've developed this, it's really good. It's really good. So the success of this project can be attributed to the operating team, definitely.
Nice. And these are all Warriors, yes?
Most of them are Warriors. There's at least Warriors in this deal, including me.
So I have a couple questions on that. And just for clarity, first one, you said new construction. Did you guys build it, or was it already built and you guys just bought it and then had to then fill it up because it was vacant? Where was the value add in this?
Yeah, absolutely. So the value add, it wasn't being operated. It was more or less abandoned, and it has a flex warehouse type construction in the middle. So when we go in and build inside, it was just a little bit of demolition, and it was just putting the climate controlled units. So typically a construction of this will run over $150 per square feet, maybe 180 in this submarket, but we were able to get it sub 100 because we just leveraged the structure that was in. So that was where the play for us.
It's a conversion. It was a conversion, basically. You've seen people do it with freaking old Kmart's and big box retailers. You just did it with an industrial building. Is that accurate? Is that what it was? Like a warehouse or something? Yeah.
Office,
Perfect.
industrial, yep.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Beautiful.
Now,
Beautiful.
secondly, you mentioned the management team. Did you have anybody on the team who had done self-storage or this type of deal before that you could lean on a little bit for getting into an abandoned warehouse, basically?
Absolutely. Boots in the ground was very important. There's a partner that lives nearby and they're there every day. The majority of the GP points for that particular partner comes from the fact that he's managing the construction.
Asset management. He's doing asset management and construction management. Okay, good.
Yeah. And then we have another expert that specializes on the leasing and stabilized part of the asset management. So yeah.
Perfect.
And then there's another expert that already has a brand in the self-storage space. So with the brand also comes a lot of knowledge, right? So we can utilize the website and start pre-leasing from now to the people that already are accessing the brand.
So what role are you playing other than bringing some money into the deal and underwriting?
Yeah, so we divided between the Warrior 3 group, me included. I did a lot of the capital raising. And then combined, the team did earnest money and also part of the asset management. So a few roles, not at the construction stage, but at the stabilized stage.
Gotcha. So you'll be involved in that asset management then as well. Okay, good.
By the way, this deal, I don't know if you mentioned, projected over 5-year holds, 3x equity multiplier, 29% IRR. If you can't get excited about potentially tripling your money over 5 years, I don't know what would.
Yeah, screaming deal. Absolutely screaming deal. And you know, the reason that was such a great deal is you thought outside the box. You got creative. You looked at something, you looked at it, and you looked at it differently than other people were looking at it. You did your homework. You got an expert in to see what the need was, and then you basically did a conversion. And that's big money. We had a Warrior that did a hotel conversion and the numbers were staggering, just like this. So good for you, man. And I will tell you, anytime you get creative and you solve problems, success is inevitable. And this is a perfect example of that. So I know you've got a couple other deals that you either closed or about to close or something. Talk about the other deals you got going, brother.
So there are 2 more. These are recent, month, 2-month old.
What are they?
One is a multifamily in Kansas, about 72 units, but we're turning one unused space into a 73rd unit, which adding good value. That one was already 100% occupied. And that's another clue that rents were very below. Yeah. Not much CapEx needed to get it back to market rent.
Year built?
I can't recall right now.
Okay, I mean, is it older, mid-range, newer? What older? Mid-range. Okay, so maybe 80s or something. Okay, and where in Kansas?
This is near Kansas City.
Okay, near Kansas City. Okay, so 72 units. Nice. Okay, and new financing on that, or how'd you take it down?
Loan assumption at 3.03%.
Boom, that's huge. It's freaking huge.
We just talked about this on last week's podcast.
Yeah,
right? How are people getting deals?
Yeah,
there you go. So that's fantastic. How many years left on it?
About 3 or so.
Okay. So in 3 years, you got to refi or sell one of the two. Okay. Fantastic.
We underwrote as a 3-year hold, and the numbers are really good. But we believe in re-underwriting every year or so to see what makes sense.
No, that's smart. You should re-underwrite every year. That's really good. Okay, and the third deal.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, third deal. I forgot about that. Third deal.
Yeah, third deal.
Yeah, the third deal is an interesting one. This one came same Warrior group, and there's a big developer that is doing very creative structures where comes the lender, the builder, and the landowner, and they come together as partner in the deals, and there's a lot of value to be made.
Oh, sure. Especially if they throw in their equity. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So what we did here is we acquired the land, and we knew the buy box for the developer, and we put the EMD. We negotiated very good terms with a
Earnest money deposit. Okay.
Yeah.
And you negotiated very good terms. Mm-hmm.
Yes, very good terms on the downside for that, and even on the upside. So there's a lot of protections like corporate guarantees, promissory note at a very competitive rate, and then getting the money back at the closing table, and also being part of the GP based on just the EMD.
Wow. So you got a slice of the GP for putting up the at-risk capital.
Correct.
Good for you. Okay. And by the way, guys, you keep hearing mention the Warrior Group. If you are interested in applying to the Warrior Group, text the word crush to 72345 so we can help you crush it. I mean, he's only gotten 3 deals in the last year. He's a slacker, but you can do better than that, okay?
It's so funny. Every time you see someone get one, it always snowballs so quickly into their second, their third, their fourth.
I've seen it so many times. You know, it's that law of the first deal. It's the scariest. It takes the longest. It's the hardest. And, you know, people are complaining. I mean, you didn't, obviously, but I've heard a lot of warriors who are like, oh, it's been 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. Then they get one. And I'm like, holy crap, now they've got 3. You know, that's how it works. It's funny. It's funny. Georgie, has the Warrior program been what you hoped it would be?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm
Nice.
very glad. I remember when I joined, speaking to friends about there are certain decisions that you want to make, and that you're scared, and you feel scared, and sometimes you're scared because you know it's not good for you, but sometimes if you go deeper, you're scared because you don't know what's going to happen after, and that's how I felt. I remember, Mark, you and I speaking. It took me a bit, but I was decided, and I told you, hey Mark, when I call you again, it's because I want to do this, and I did. I don't look back. I'm very glad that I did. I invite a lot of my friends. I send them the emails. I still get the emails. Hey, come to the bootcamp. I say, hey, it's 97. It's this price. Go, go, go.
Hello. Tell me your freaking excuse. It's 97 freaking dollars very often if you catch us at the right time. But you know, tell me, I don't want to hear your excuses. There's no excuses because it's not a big sales pitch. It's just freaking knowledge, and that's what you need to be a success. Anyway, text crush to 72345 if you want to check it out. That's it.
So I wanted to dig in a little bit more on the capital raising that you talked about, because obviously you mentioned you have the connections in the tech world. And I'm sure very often the people that you're connected with are invested in tech stocks or Bitcoin or all the things that are in that world, right? Real estate might be new. What are some of the conversations like when you're calling those people to talk to them about bringing them in as a potential investor? Are they having pains in terms of, you know, their current investments? What are some of those conversations like, and how do you generally convince them to move over into real estate?
That's a great question, Mark. Sometimes stocks is the main one, right? People have their 401ks and their Robinhood accounts, and they just invest in stocks. Some of them may stock pick or just put money on their ETFs. I think it boils down to education. There are a few times comes somebody that said, hey, I learned about the benefits of real estate. I just don't know how to do it, right? And then we talk. I tell them my stories, how I've done it, the type of returns that I've been getting, which are always higher than the stocks. Myself, I still do some stock picking here and there, and I can't beat my real estate. There are a few people that if I try to reach people, I may find these people that don't believe in real estate. These may be, I don't know, 22-year-old people that are more into the crypto, and they swear that crypto is a better vehicle, right? But then once it swings down, they're very quiet, but that's fine. What I like to think, I philosophize a lot about this, is people like to see the return, but they ignore the risk. And when for example, that one deal on the the loan assumption, right? Like it's an asset, it's already 100% occupied. You're eliminating a lot of the risks that if we were to just operate it normally, it would just cash flow and our investment will be there.
Sure.
There's a lot of investments in real estate because it's backed by a hard asset that to me it's a no-brainer, but to them they need certain education. And that's where I come in. We talk it through and I tell them what I believe, and they end up doing their first investment and then they do their second and their third. I have some friends that they call me up and they say, hey, I have $100,000 and I want to do one of those things that you did. And that's how we've been working.
Nice.
And one of those things, by the way, for people that don't know, in terms of the downsides of stocks and crypto, guess what happens if you want to take that profit out and use it and enjoy your life like it should be? You now have to pay taxes on that money, which most people don't think about, versus real estate passive income is essentially tax-free because of the amount of depreciation over a period of years that you do not have to pay any taxes on. That's another great thing about real estate that people in the stock world that's been sitting there for 20 years, they don't think about the taxes, right? It kind of slips their mind every once in a while.
Yep. No, that's the reason 90% of the world's millionaires either did it in real estate or invest in real estate. That's what we call a clue. All right. So at a current pace, if you were to take a guess or projection, how many years do you think it will take for you to reach financial freedom, whatever your definition of that is, Georgie?
At the beginning, I was shooting for 5 years. And I realized that it probably would be 3. And I have one of my warrior friends who has become a mentor. He said that it's possible in less than that, in 2 or 1. So
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm still shooting.
I've seen it. I've
Yeah.
seen it that fast. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I try to
Go big or go home, baby. Go big or go home. Okay. You know, you work for one of the top tech companies on the freaking planet. Why don't you just stay there and continue? You know, you'll get stock options and stuff like that. And, you know, and you probably make a few $1,000,000 doing that, or do a startup in Silicon Valley. You know, you got a background in AI, man, that's going to be insane. I keep listening to Joe Rogan to interview these people in AI. So why not that? Why real estate?
I would say I could work as an AI software engineer and make a lot of money, millions. The rate is very high right now. And I could invest as an LP, right? I could invest as an LP. I could do the stocks. What typically people do is they earn their money and they put it in stocks, they get taxed. And that time frame is a lot longer than 5 years for them. I think the last time I ran the math, it was probably like 20 years to get to the point where you're ready. You replace at least your base income, the money that you need to live. If you were to invest as an LP, then you can considerably cut that time down to between 5 if you're very aggressive, but most likely about 7 or so if you were to invest your money as an LP. I personally like real estate. I'm passionate about it.
There's the answer. There's the freaking answer right there. If you like it or you love it, that's what life was meant to be enjoyed, right? That's it. That's it right there, brother. That's kind of what I was looking for.
Right.
Okay.
The passion that I have in to me, it's training. I may be doing real estate right now, but slowly I'm turning the knowledge that I've acquired from commercial real estate of understanding how to read a T12, understanding how business is done. It's transferable, even to, let's say, business acquisitions, or if I have to do a startup later. By the way, the startup, it is enticing, but it's a lot better to do a startup when you have passive income to support your lifestyle, right? That way you don't have to take the VC money, the venture capitalist money. You don't have to live on that. You can make better decisions. So that is part of my plan of how to do it.
And much bigger paydays. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So that is how I'm viewing the real estate. Let's train myself on being more business oriented, build a passive income, be financially free, and then decide, am I gonna double down into the real estate, or am I gonna do more startups in AI or something else?
Fair enough.
Good advice. Real quick, before we talk about how people can reach you, you having your background in AI, are there any quick tips, softwares, tools anybody can use in the AI world to help them with real estate? I know one we just use is the obvious Chat GPT to help us actually rebrand a property, and it came up with some good names that we couldn't think of. That's an obvious one, but any quick tips that you use in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. As a business owner, the tip, it's a bit outside of AI, but it is to encourage adoption of AI, because you may have some employees that have been with you and they're reluctant, right? And it's like, hey, AI is not going to replace you, it's going to enhance you, right? So that, and ChatGPT is more than enough, because you can do a lot of things with it. Other than that, I've I stopped taking notes during meetings. I use the note takers. That's very useful. For graphic design, definitely generate stuff and edit stuff. That was actually that's my specialization within AI. I built the ChatGPT version that creates images and videos and edits them.
Oh, very cool. So how can people get a hold of you, my friend? You don't mind, do you? Do you mind if people reach out?
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Okay. So how do they do that?
So I'm on my socials. My personal Instagram is Georgy MH. It's GeorgymH. My LinkedIn, it can be found by my full name, Georgy Marrero. That's Marrero. And then my website, the brand that I use for the real estate, is called Equis Capital, EQUIS Capital. And if you Google it, you can find me there. You can see a little bit more of my story, the deals that I've done, and you can contact me. I read all the emails that people send me, all the DMs.
Nice. Thank you, brother. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and adding some value today. It was a very good conversation. You definitely added value.
Thanks, Georgie.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
brother.
Thank you both.
Nice job.